William Booth's message of soup, soap, and salvation inspired the Salvation Army's mission. Today, this is evident in the social services provided by the Army in Zimbabwe and Malawi. The HIV/AIDS pandemic in Africa has devastated the population, leaving a gap between the very young and the very old. Few of the elderly have family members left to care for them. The Salvation Army is providing for that need. It was another early morning when we left to visit the Bamudzo Old People's Home. The roads were very bad, and at times we had to use four-wheel drive just to make it through. Despite being very old, the facility, which houses both men and women, was still very clean. The large grounds leave plenty of room to grow corn and other vegetables in gardens around the complex. This food is an important part of their daily diet. I spoke with Major Spluia Chirando, who is a registered nurse and matron of the facility.
At times we run out of even analgesics like paracetamol, Phenobarbital, methyl-dopa. We can go for weeks without those drugs. And we just survive by taking drugs from donors.
Okay.
So we have a problem of drugs.
So sometimes there's even weeks when you're without drugs.
Yes. Like last time, it was in November, I think we didn't have the Phenobarbital for epileptic patients, and we didn't have the methyl-dopa. For hypertensive patients, it was a problem.
My husband passed away long back during the war, so from that time I was stranded. So I'm very grateful that the Salvation Army is here and is looking after me. I'm happy.
I sat with three elderly men, and though I spoke to them in English and they answered me in Shona, the official language of Zimbabwe, we carried on a conversation for a few minutes, not knowing what the other was saying. We ended in laughter, still a universal language. Near the end of our stay in Zimbabwe, we visited a second home for the elderly. The Railston Old People's Home in Bulawayo is located on the western side of the country. As we were being introduced to the residents, I met a man from a town in Scotland near my parents' birthplace. Laughing as we spoke to each other in Gaelic, he told me he had not heard the Gaelic since 1959, and it was music to his ears. So you still remember the language a little bit, eh? I'm very happy to be standing here talking to you today. Along with caring for the elderly, the Army is meeting the needs of thousands of starving families. In the Palambi district of Malawi, the Army has partnered with the United Nations World Food Program to help fight hunger. A staff of volunteers runs a number of feeding programs, including a special program for lactating mothers and children under 5. On the day we visited, they were distributing food to 250 people who were considered invalid, chronically ill, or orphaned. The village chiefs confirm who is eligible. The food is often picked up by a family member or a friend. They were given a 100-pound sack of dried corn. Most carried it away on their heads, while others used bicycles or wheelbarrows. Seeing the look on their faces made me realize this is what World Services is all about. I was thrilled to see how the money I give is putting food on their tables and making a tangible impact on their lives.